Hey guys, if you want more Girls Next Level tea, behind the scenes, and deep dives, head over to our Patreon page for the exclusive content you can only find there. We have a whole other podcast called Slumber Party with Holly and Bridget. We have the commercial-free, uncensored video version of Girls Next Level, our personal scrapbooks, advice, Q&A, and so much more. I'm up in the comments talking to you guys. It's all the good stuff. We've been doing this for about a year and a half now, so there's a ton of content to binge. So go over to patreon.com/girlsnextlevel to join our Patreon family. We love you guys so much. We'll see you there. I'm Holly.
And I'm Bridget.
And this
is Girls Next Level.
Welcome back to Girls Next Level, everybody. We are back with Girls Next Door Season 3, Episode 2, May the Horse Be With You, Part 2. But first I have to ask you, Bridget, do you use Waze?
I do.
Okay, you know how when you're driving and you have your phone mounted there so you can see the screen and it'll say, oh, there's a car on the side of the road. Is it still there? And I always tap yes or no. And then it'll give you blue diamonds come up. What are those points for?
I have no idea.
Because they're very satisfying. I love doing it, but I'm what do you get?
See, I won't tap it if I'm driving typically because I don't want to be distracted by trying to tap the button or being worried about that kind of stuff. But if I'm a passenger and Nick's driving a redder, I love tapping. I'm oh, pothole's still there. Car's still there.
Yeah.
Cop is still there. Ding, 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 ding.
No, I love it. But I was wondering, where do the points go? What do they turn into?
I don't know. And I don't even think I have mine fully registered. I think I'm just an anonymous driver. I don't have mine named or any cute. I see other people's have cute things.
Yeah, there's
and stuff.
princess ones with heart eyes and stuff
that.
Yeah,
no, I don't do any of that. I'm the generic user.
Yeah.
And I've been working on our trip and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody for all of the advice and tips. I'm including them in my itinerary. Super excited.
That's so fun. So I was watching this episode and I was texting back and forth with you and I'm what's a good theme for the second half? And we kind of thought of priorities. So I wanted to ask you, what are your top priorities in life now and how do you come to that conclusion? Because I know everybody's just overwhelmed right now and you have to figure out what the do I fit in?
Well, one of my top priorities is definitely still career. It always is. But I just feel that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me excited. And we've talked about before, I truly love what we do. I love this podcast. I love the paranormal podcast. I love everything I'm doing. And so it's one of my top priorities to make sure that I'm doing what I want to be doing, that I'm happy with it, that it's moving forward. Another one of my top priorities is definitely travel.
Yeah.
Because there's so much I want to see and so much I want to do. And Nick loves to travel. So I feel it's something that we can truly get away from. Because when I'm at home, even if I feel there's no days off really. Every day there's something I need to do that's work-wise that sometimes takes all day. Sometimes I just need an hour or two here and there. But I feel I never really take a full day off altogether. And so that's hard with Nick because when he has a day off, he truly wants to be off and go and do stuff. So when we go and travel, we really can just be off for a little bit.
Yeah.
How about you?
Definitely my kids, obviously, are number one. And 2 is work because I got to pay the bills. And 3, this is so embarrassing, but honestly, it's my appearance. I have to keep it up.
Oh, well, I think that.
And I know that sounds like people are going to rip on me to death over this because it sounds so shallow. But I'm in front of the camera and I start filming my shows again next week. So this week I have to go replace these nails because this is not a professional shade for a true crime investigator. And I got to get the lashes done. I got to get my roots done and make sure they're consistent for the whole season and stuff like that. And just fitness and everything like that. It is, if I'm being completely honest, it's a chunk of my time.
Of course.
And a huge priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you feel and this is probably a question I should have given you in advance because I feel it might be one you have to think about. What do you wish you could fit more into your life, but you just haven't been making a priority?
Oh, gosh. God, I don't know off the top of my head.
It's hard because it's just, I feel we both pack our schedules out so hard. It's hard to figure out where would I even put it if I wanted to do something else. I think probably like travel is probably like what I wish I could fit in, I think. And just, I need to make kind of a priority because it's like, yeah, you can work really hard and stuff, but like you also have to enjoy your life. It's a weird balance.
It's funny because Nick and I think we balance each other out, but I'm very much like work. No, I can't go do that because I have things I have to work on. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. No, I don't have time to go do that. And he's very much, or even, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend my money on that. Like, oh, I don't want to spend, that's too much. Oh no, we just did that last week. We can't do it this week or whatever. And he's very much like, let's go, let's do it. Let's have it. Let's splurge. Let's, do this or anything. And I said, I'm a saver. You're a spender. And he doesn't think he's a spender. He thinks he saves too, which he does. But I'm like, I'm definitely much more like I think because I grew up with no money. Like my parents, like my mom was on welfare. We used food stamps when I was little. So I just feel like I've seen it be gone before and what it's like that. And I just don't want that to ever happen. So like I definitely save, always have to have a nest egg and things like that. And he grew up definitely much more, like they traveled when he was a kid and things like that. And I'm like, oh no, we never did anything like that. Like we did not travel at all. So I think we just kind of come from two totally different backgrounds where I'm kind of like a Scrooge and like thrifty and he's sort of like, what? We should like celebrate everything and do this and do that. And of course I want to do those things. So it's finding our like happy medium.
Totally. Because you do have to do it. Otherwise you're just living your whole life and not enjoying it or not. Like, what am I working for kind of a thing.
Yeah, which is funny because, and I know I mentioned this already, but like this trip, I almost just canceled it altogether. And it's priorities.
Wait, why did you almost cancel it?
Because of the other trip that's so close to it.
Right. Okay.
And because it was getting kind of late and because of the cost of it. And just, there was a million like reasons. And I just thought maybe it's better to just like cancel this altogether. And Nick's like, wait, what? You can make it work. And it is going to work out. So I'm so glad I didn't. But it brings about all those things like priorities. It brings about like just what's important to you and celebrating things, because it's not just, we don't just pick this time of year just because, like it's also my birthday and our anniversary. And it's going to be 16 years, by the way, in October.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then it's his birthday right after. So and plus it's my stepdad's birthday. So there's like just a lot going on at that time. So that's kind of why we picked this time of year to travel. So
yeah, that makes sense. Can't really recreate it another time of year.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it made me think of that because I was thinking about how we go horseback riding in this episode. And this horseback riding place is right by my house. And I love it. I think it's one of the most fun things to do. I never get around to doing it, though, because it's either way too hot in the summer. Not that LA temperatures are too extreme, but it's too hot to do that, I think. And then too cold, as we'll see in this episode, to do it in the winter. So if you're not thinking of it in the off season, it's kind of like not top of mind. And I've taken Rainbow to it, but I remember the first time I called to ask when she was really little, like maybe like 3 or 4, like the youngest you would be to ride a horse. I called because I want to make an appointment. They're like, oh, you can't bring your kid until they're like 7 or 8. Like that's the 8, I think, is the youngest you can do. And I remember back then thinking, oh, well, that's so far in the goddamn future. That's never going to happen. You know what I mean? And blink of an eye later, now she's 11. It just happens so fast. But I did end up taking her when she was 7. I lied about her age. I said she was a year older. And it was like right after the pandemic because everybody was still wearing masks and stuff, or like during the pandemic or whatever. And you've never been back to it.
I've never been back horseback riding at that particular place, but I've definitely been horseback riding since.
Yeah.
Just not there.
Yeah, that's what made me think of the whole priorities thing, because I think I do pretty good when it comes to my kids, like making sure we do all the things while it's age appropriate and like making those memories. I'm really good at checking that off. But yeah.
It's funny because there's so many things that I love, whether it's doing things like that or even traveling places. And it's like, oh, I want to do that again. Like I definitely want to do that again. Like I would love to go back to Sunset Ranch again and everything. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, but there's so many other things I want to do too. So what about new memories?
Yeah.
So then you got to figure out what you make time for. I think it's interesting because this episode starts in my room and I'm on the floor playing with Winnie and you walk in and I'm talking to you about all the layers that I have on. And it's funny because people are asking in the episode, like, how come you guys didn't dress more appropriately for the cold weather or whatever? But I'm specifically talking about how I'm layered up. I have my snowboarding thermals on underneath.
Yeah, because I was just going to say, even though it's later in the season, we go snowboarding. I think we already got the stuff from Burton because I am pretty sure I did that too. Like I put my thermals on under my jeans.
Yeah. And I looked up what the temperature was when we did this because everybody was asking.
Because people were asking, yeah. And whatever it is, I don't know what you're about to say, but whatever it is probably not going to sound extreme to anyone. All I can tell you is it felt fucking cold.
Yeah. So it was about 54 degrees.
Yeah. And it was like evening, the sun was setting, the wind was blowing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think people realize this was a sunset tour. Mm-hmm. So we left late in the afternoon and we go over as the sun is setting and then we eat and then we come back kind of twilight dark, getting dark. Yeah. So it's cold out. And the low got down to 35. That was the coldest night in January of 2007. I don't know if it got down to 35 on this particular night, but it got down to 35 degrees. So it was probably at least in the 40s, low 40s on our way back. Mm-hmm. That's cold. I don't care where you are. That's cold.
It is cold, yeah. Like it, and just the length of time we're out there because it's a pretty long ride.
Yeah, I remember it. I thought it was like, wasn't it like a couple hours there and a couple hours back? Or am I crazy?
I don't know if it's a couple hours, but I would say hour there, hour back.
Oh, okay.
Or at least 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. But it seems long.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm definitely wearing all these layers. So I don't know what more I could have done. Yeah. A parka or...
Yeah, if we wanted to wear really puffy coats. But honestly, I don't think... Like, we knew, obviously, we're wearing layers, so we know it's going to be cold. But we didn't know it would be that cold.
Yeah. I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing gloves and so I feel like I'm doing all the things that I can do. And honestly, I probably didn't have like a huge parka type coat because I still don't really today.
Yeah, in LA you wouldn't really wear one.
So I show you all the fun stuff that I'm bringing, the cowboy hat, a bandana, and Dickie gave me his holster and gun. So I've been loving Rocket Money. It's such an easy way to keep track of all of my finances. And did I tell you that not that long ago, they alerted me that I'm paying too much for my cell phone bill. Like they can get it lowered for me, which is incredible. Managing finances can feel complicated and time-consuming, right? But it doesn't have to be. Rocket Money simplifies everything, making it so easy to see exactly what's happening with your finances, track your spending, and give you full control of all of it, right from your phone. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. See all your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. And for any that you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them with just a few taps. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts. You can easily create a personalized budget with custom categories to help keep your spending on track. See your monthly spending trends in each category to know exactly where your money is going. You can get alerts if bills increase in price, there's unusual spending activity, or if you're just close to going over budget. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/nextlevel. That's rocketmoney.com/nextlevel. rocketmoney.com/nextlevel.
Should we tell the story about Not a Real Gun, Pal?
Yes, I have it in here.
Yeah,
yes.
So Hef's friend Dickie Band went to a Halloween party dressed as a cowboy once. And security wanted to kick him out because he had a holster with guns.
Yeah, he was wearing that holster with those guns.
And he told me it was not a real gun. And as he was getting kicked out, he was holding it up and going, "Not a real gun, pal. Not a real gun." And I've heard that story so many times. It's just like that quote is ingrained in my mind.
Me too.
But then didn't you tell me it was a real gun?
I think it is a real gun. Well, I don't know if it's like a real gun like bullets, but it's I think it's a real gun, like a pop gun or something like that. I don't know what that means, even a pop gun. But I think it's heavy like a real gun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You know, because you tried on the belt, the holster.
Yeah, it's pretty weighty. And then they make a really cute wanted poster of you.
I love
I
it.
love the cute graphics. Bridget striptease Marquardt wanted.
Yes, I love it. And there's a scene, and it shows Dickie as we're talking about this.
Yeah.
And do you remember how much he hated that scene?
Yeah, because they pause him for a second and pop like a cartoon cowboy hat on his head. And he didn't like it because he thought it made him look stupid or something.
Yeah. And he said, his friends in Lone Pine were going to make fun of him.
Oh my God, no, I bet they loved it. Yeah, and that's another thing about Dickie too, is every year he would go on vacation to this place called Lone Pine, which is this place in California where they used to shoot a lot of Westerns.
Yeah, there was like a film festival or something that he would go to.
Yeah. But it's interesting, because he's I've seen some stuff online where he's kind of maybe he didn't mean to, but seemed like he was maybe downplaying our feelings a little bit about how we were portrayed on the show. But like he couldn't even take that. He couldn't even take a cowboy hat.
Right? I didn't even think about that. You're right. So you grab the gun and holster.
In commentary, though, I'm lobbying for a Dickie Ban episode. And also I'm saying how because by the time we're doing the commentary, I'm already working at the studio, and I'm saying how I really want to direct a Playmate pictorial in like an old ghost town. And I'd completely forgotten about that. And I can't believe I never did it, because we had like the perfect candidate at one point where we did kind of a little bit of a cowgirl theme. I must have completely forgotten about the idea, because I know people ask us sometimes like, oh, are there any, themes for pictorials you never got to do? Or what plot line do you wish you got to do on Girls Next Door that you never got to do? And when we've answered those before, we're always kind of like, I feel like we kind of did everything we wanted to do. Yeah. But that's one. That's
Ghost
one.
Town?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Bodie?
No, but that one freaks me out, because doesn't it have like just silverware that people left there and nobody knows why they left?
More than just silverware. It's like they just up and left their lives right how it is.
It's like Roanoke.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That was okay. So the original documentary that I watched about it a long time ago, like that's the vibe they gave. Like these people, nobody knows what happened to them. They just like left, and they left food cooking on the stove and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you go there and you do the actual history and stuff, it's not, they don't say it like that. They're like very much like it just kind of dwindled out. And at the end, there was only like so many people left. And then finally, before winter came, they were just like, we got to get out of here. And this, because the mining boom was over.
Yeah.
And so it just sort of died down.
I like the first story better.
Me too, but my whole life, because I watched that little like documentary, whatever it was, and as a child, and so my whole life I was like, oh my God, Bodie, I need to go to Bodie. It's so crazy. But there is another spooky story about Bodie. Supposedly, if you take anything from there, anything, a rock, a piece of wood, anything, that you will have like all this bad luck and be haunted. And they have people sending shit back to them all the time that they stole from there.
Oh my God.
So don't take anything from Bodie.
Zach told me one time he took something from Romania and it was so bad he had to send it back.
Whoa. See, that's what people do at Bodie. They send it back all the time. And it says, do not take anything from here. But people still,
That is
do.
nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, Bodie's way off the topic, but it just reminded me of all of this.
Yeah. Did you ever see the show where they like kind of debunked what happened at the Lost Colony of Roanoke?
No.
Because I always thought it sounded like so mysterious and
Yeah.
scary. Like, did they get abducted? Like, what happened?
Right.
And they wrote like a nonsense word on the tree and nobody knows what it means. But they wrote Croatoan, and I guess Croatoan was like an old word for like an island that was next to it. So they just like left and went to a different island.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not exciting as what I
No,
was
it's
taught
like
in
the Bodie
school.
story is not as exciting. I like the mysteries.
Yeah. So Winnie is a cow dog.
Yes,
She
so
looks
cute.
so cute with her bandana. And then I decide I'm going to show you my Sally Rand nude ranch outfit.
Yes.
Which is basically just like they wore the holster so that the gun was like in front of their crotch and like down the butt crack. So
Yeah.
like you're covered. And I decide I'm going to go model the costume for Hef. So I go back into the primary bedroom.
Yeah.
And I wish I was that confident walking around with my ass out these days.
Aw.
Because I gave no cares back then. And I think he's really getting
You know
a kick
what?
out of the outfit.
We should have no cares now.
Yeah. I think he's really enjoying the outfit.
I think he is too.
Super
I think
getting a kick out of it.
At first, he seems like a little distracted, like he got interrupted in writing his notes or whatever he was working on and stuff. But then I think as soon as it like clicked what was happening, he like thought it was funny.
And they're still playing it off like we're gonna go nude horseback riding, which I think is funny.
Even after I'm talking about all the thermals I'm wearing and stuff.
I think kind of. I think they're kind of playing it off like I just have this harebrained scheme that we're all gonna like get naked on the horses or something, which was obviously never the plan, but.
And then we talk about Dickie's face when he saw this scene. He just got so red. I remember him just being like so like embarrassed.
That is so funny. I love it. So then we show up to the Sunset Ranch Horse Ranch, which I'd never been to before, and it's up in Beechwood Canyon. And this episode like put my life on a whole different path because we're driving up Beechwood and I'm seeing all these adorable houses that look like 7 dwarf cottages. Like I've never seen anything like it. And I'm like, what is this neighborhood? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I did like some research into it and found out, what it was. And later on we were doing some press thing and you guys were getting your makeup done in the med room and I was sitting down there and there was a PR lady down there and she wasn't with Playboy or Us. She was with like whatever magazine we were shooting for or whatever. And she was just talking about how her and her husband own one of the original Hollywoodland houses. And I remember thinking, I want to own one of the original Hollywoodland houses.
Yeah.
And I manifested it.
Yes. That's
Although
amazing.
I have to say, having a 100-year-old house is a responsibility, though. Like, I was a big adult this morning, and I had people come because I have to get, like, all these pipes replaced because, all these original pipes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, but I love it. Also, like, I wanted to say when they first developed that community, the Hollywoodland community with all the fairy tale houses and stuff, it was in the 20s, and the original plan where they were going to have this big health club and the horse ranch, which is there. And the original plan was you were supposed to be able to call and like order a horse to your house, and they'd come bring a horse to your house, which is such a cute idea.
Yeah.
It didn't end up happening. Like they never built the health club because, of course, the Great Depression happened, and so a lot of the building got toned down. But the horse ranch is still there. You just can't call. And somebody was asking on the Patreon, they're like, I heard you can call and order a horse to your house. I'm like, no, you've been digging in the history books. That never happened, but it's a cute idea.
It is a cute idea. Okay, so we get there and we're all excited to wear our cowboy hats. We all brought cute hats and everything. And then they tell us, we have to wear helmets and we need to start by filling out paperwork.
We were so bummed about the helmets because so many people brought like cute cowboy hats or we had our hair done a certain way and we wanted to look themed.
Well, we want it to be the whole aesthetic. It really ruins it. I mean, I get why you had to wear a helmet, but like it really ruins the aesthetic.
We were so bummed.
And then we were ready to just like jump on and they're like, oh no, paperwork. So then it's like, even the show kind of goes,
yeah. And I went back, before I left the mansion, I went back for another ride with like Juliana and Kayla. Did you go on that one?
I don't think so.
I think it was just like the new girls at the Playmate House or something. But that time we went, it was too hot.
Oh.
And then you're like out there with the sun beating down on you. So that's when I learned off season only. And you know what else I learned last time I went on the ride is they don't do the ride to the Mexican restaurant anymore.
Oh.
Like you still go on that same path, but they won't do it because they said people were getting too drunk. Which is like rude. But I did go back there several times. Like when I first got married, we would spend some time at my house up there. And me and some of Pasquale's friends went on that ride and stuff. And there used to be a guy performing at that Mexican restaurant named Jimmy Angel. And he was this old singer from the 50s. And he would sing the funniest songs with just like the most nonsense lyrics. It was so funny. And like Sarah Underwood went to see him and like it was like a known thing. It was like a private joke between us, the Jimmy Angel thing. I think he still performs like at Smokehouse. Like I think he's still a thing.
I love the Smokehouse.
Yeah. I wish I could explain to you guys how funny he is and I really can't, but take my word for it.
And just so you guys know, the Smokehouse is another historic restaurant here in LA. It's in Burbank. And it's just been there forever, and it's one of those like old school ones.
Like an old studio restaurant.
Yeah.
With really good garlic bread.
And I think we need to talk about this because Kendra's talking about her big head, and I saw so many people.
Yeah, people were like, does she really have a big head? I don't know. I know she does have a lot of hair.
She has a ton of hair, and
So
it's
maybe
super thick. And she always used to say that she had a big head and that helmets never fit her right, like when she was playing sports as a kid and stuff. So I don't know like what the circumference of her head actually is.
I think her head looks normal. It's probably more like her hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
You guys, I love fall. I love Halloween. I love the coziness. I love the fall aesthetic. I love it when the weather gets cooler, especially in Vegas. It's so nice. And another thing I love to do is create capsule wardrobes. That way, when my schedule gets really packed, like it is right now, I can just open my closet and I already have such an easy selection, an easy mix and match. You can put something together. You can look cute right away every day. And one of the places that really helps me with that is Quint, especially since it's fall. And you know I love the Quint cashmere sweaters. Quint is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, and you know I love those. And it's not just that, all Quint items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They're able to do that by partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, which passes the savings on to us. And Quint only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And of course, premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. Some of my favorite Quint items, of course, are the cashmere sweaters I talk about all the time. I have them in so many different colors. They're such a staple for me. But also I just got this long silk skirt and the silk camisole top, and it's so pretty. And I love just having these quality pieces to incorporate in my capsule wardrobe. They hold up, they're comfortable, they're quality, they're all the good things. So I can feel good about what I'm putting on, and it looks amazing. Get cozy in Quint's high quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/nextlevel for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/nextlevel and get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/nextlevel.
But I think it's interesting how they say they're going to match us with the proper horse, like ability-wise and personality-wise and stuff. And I feel like that's so interesting that they're able to do that without really knowing. I know we filled out a little questionnaire, but I feel like they really did nail it pretty good on like fitting us with our horses.
I felt like they did too. And like, did the show give them like a heads up or something?
I doubt it. I feel like they wouldn't have even known that they were going to do that. I don't know.
I told them I wanted a white horse because fairy tale. And they gave me this kind of whitish grayish horse named Smokey. He was amazing, but he was so old and so tired that they said I didn't even have to tie him up at the Mexican restaurant because he would just stand there.
Oh my God. How cute. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry, lady.
But he was a very sweet horse. I wonder how much longer that horse ranch is going to be in business. Do you know they don't have the pony rides at Griffith Park anymore?
Yes.
Sad. I used to love taking my kids there. It was so fun.
Yeah, that was very controversial, them shutting that down. There was people protesting that.
Tell me about it, because I didn't realize when it happened.
Yeah, so, well, it was all over the news, but people were protesting like they really wanted it to stay, like it's a fixture, but other people were saying that it's abusive to the horses and to make them do that all day long. And then there was like, I could be wrong on this. I thought there was a video of like something happening with them. But yeah, so there was people fighting on both sides of it. Like, this has been here forever. People love this in LA. It's so good for the kids and stuff. And other people were being like, it's not fair to the horses and this needs to go and this kind of entertainment shouldn't exist anymore. And I'm sort of torn on that kind of thing. I just don't know.
I'm torn on it too. I would have to know a lot more about horses and spend a lot more time with the horses to know what's actually good for them.
Yeah.
And like, is it really awful that they're walking around in circles for the better part of a day? Like, don't they have to get that exercise?
And I think they trade them off. So it's not like you're just like doing a circle all day long. But I don't know enough about it either. I always know we had horses growing up when I was younger. And I know they need to get their exercise. Yeah. And like, if they aren't out getting their exercise, if they're in like a pen or whatever, you have to get them out. And like, you know, they run in circles in the corral and you'd stand in the middle and have the, I was going to call it a leash, but I think it's like the harness or whatever, you know, and guide them around. So I don't know. But I just remember it was like a thing.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing anything weird when I was there, like any frothing at the mouth or any horse that looked miserable or anything like that.
And I've also been told, and I could be wrong on this too, that the frothing of the mouth is kind of normal. It's just sort of like their sweat. In fact, I think he tells me this in this episode, that the frothing of the mouth is like a normal thing. It's like how they perspire, how they sweat. And I remember that, what?
Do people still say rode hard and put away wet?
I haven't heard it in a long time.
I haven't heard it. I think we should explain. So I heard this, I think, from Mary O'Connor. So it's a very... it's an old-fashioned term. But like if a woman looked wrecked or like
Anybody, doesn't even have to be just a woman.
been out way too late or been around the block or something, it's like she's been rode hard and put away wet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing it a lot growing up. I mean, I don't want to say a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, I remember it being a common term growing up, but like, I have not heard that in so long. I think it's a dying generation that used to say that.
Too.
And then, of course, Kendra says she wants a black stallion. And I saw people asking about this, like, are these comments like...
I think it's supposed to be a joke.
Oh, yeah, she knows what
like
she's doing.
It's not an accident.
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
And then they said they don't have black stallions, and Kendra gets Aslan, and we never hear the end of it. And Crystal gets a horse called Dweezil.
That's such a cute name.
And I get a horse named Sundance. And this next line always stuck with me. Allison says she wants a safe one. She's like, I need the Volvo of horses. And for some reason, that made me laugh so hard when she originally said it. We
all thought it was so funny.
Yes. And for the rest of my life since then, you guys, like, I always think about when I'm going to do something like dangerous or like something where I always think in my head, I need the Volvo of this or the Volvo of that. And it's straight from Allison saying that about the horse. And I'm telling you guys all this because it was asked if we remember the names of our horses and which horses we got.
Yeah, my horse is just unforgettable to me. I love that horse.
Yeah. And you say it was suited to your personality too.
Totally. He was very mellow.
And you say you don't have any riding experience because, did I ask you this in the first half of this episode if you had ever been...
No, this is
been horseback riding before?
No, this is my first time on a horse ever.
I don't remember if I answered it or not, but I am no means a horseback rider or anything like that or a horsey girl. But like I definitely, when I was younger, we grew up in town in Lodi, like till I was 9. And then we moved out to the country with my stepdad. And he had cows and horses. And we didn't ride the horses at our house, but I had a lot of friends who did have horses that we'd go ride. And so I would go to their house and we would saddle up. And one of my favorite memories is I had this friend and we'd get on the horse and we'd go ride through this just giant field, like just a meadow, and then we would take the horses down into the creek and like ride in the creek.
Oh,
and it was
fun.
So amazing. And the creek is all overgrown with like these old oak trees and stuff like that. And it's one of my favorite memories. And then we'd be all hot and sweaty when we came back, rode hard and put away wet, and then we'd jump in the pool at her house. And I just thought that was so much fun.
So then are we cutting back to Hef on the cruise and cooler?
Oh, yeah. So then it cuts back and we're in the office, Mary's office, and Hef is sitting there. And he asks Mary, are the girls still out horseback riding? And she says, yes. This is all made up, though.
Yeah, because weren't we there?
We
when
were
the cruise
there.
And coolers came, and weren't we riding around on them too?
Yes, 100%, because I almost crashed.
Oh, how do you crash a cruise and cooler?
So I went onto the grass a little bit to turn around, and the front wheel hit like a divot and almost flipped the whole thing over.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was scary. But yeah, so Hank comes in and says there's the cruise and coolers here, and Hef looks so annoyed at first. Like he has no idea what he's talking about.
That's so funny. And this was just some random thing that the company gifted us, right?
Yes, but I feel like Stacy had something to do with this. I thought this was something that she knew the people who started this company or something like that.
That does sound familiar.
And arranged to have a cruise and cooler brought to the mansion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they brought two. They brought a black one and a pink one. And in case you guys don't know what a cruise and cooler is it's a cooler on wheels with like a little handlebar thing. So you can put your drinks in there and then you sit on it and you drive it around. So it's perfect for like a lake party or like a beach or boardwalk or something like that.
Yeah.
Camping even. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on your terrain.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, if it's a concert where you can bring your own food and drink it, that would be perfect.
And they had like Playboy bunnies on the side. And I thought those things were so cute. I was obsessed with the cruise and cooler. And they ended up in the auction.
Did they really? Because I feel like one of them was technically ours. Like as a collective. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then it cuts back to us with the horses.
Wait, can I say one more thing about this? So I think it's super I know we were there, so that's why it happened and everything. But it is so weird to have a scene with Hef without us, I feel like. Other than like just a phone call or something like that. Like he's actually doing a scene. Well, I don't think he knew he was doing it alone.
Yeah.
But he's actually doing a scene alone. And I think that might be unheard of in here.
Yeah, is this the first time we're seeing this?
I feel like it.
Yeah, I feel like they're starting to get into the swing of like when we're away doing something, cutting back and showing Hef doing something. And I know they'll do it more as the series goes on. But this is just a testament to how much he loved the show, because he would have not done this in season 1.
Right.
Or possibly even season 2.
And then part of me is like, well, maybe it's just because we were there and he didn't realize he was doing a scene on his own. They just cut us out to make it look like that. But then I'm like, even the fact that he did it and left it in there like that, without us in it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a testament to that. And I think it's funny too because Hef is driving off in it and Hank is like super worried and trying to run right behind him on it.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of funny.
Don't want him falling off.
So cut back to horseback riding.
We're talking about the Hollywood sign because we're doing the ride up on these trails by the Hollywood sign. I'm talking about how in the 70s Hef helped restore it. He kind of started that whole fundraiser and everything, and they dedicated the Y and the Hollywood sign to him. I wrote in my book I think it was the second book, when I found my house in Beechwood, I was driving up to go look at it. And as I was driving up, and you can't really see it like this now just because like a tree has grown over it. But as you're driving it up, if you're looking for the house, when you first see like a corner of the house, you see the Hollywood sign and you're really close to it. And it just said Holly. And I thought, it's a sign.
Totally.
It was so funny. But I put that in my book, and I remember seeing a review of my book somewhere where somebody was like, she lies about so many things. Like when she finds the house, supposedly you can only see the Holly part of the Hollywood sign. Like there's no way. And I'm like, why the fuck would I make that up?
And how is there no way?
Stupid. I know.
There's so many different angles you could be looking at it from.
And they were like so fired up about how I have to be making that up. Shut the fuck up. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. October is the season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want to, whether it's at work, in social settings, around our family. I'm on the spectrum, so I have masked a lot in my time, trying to fit in with other people, not being myself. But I think a lot of other people do it too. And that's one place where therapy really helped me, is it helped me talk about issues where I go into social settings and I don't feel comfortable. And what do I have to do to be myself and not care what other people think? This can especially get to you in the age of social media and everything else we have going on. It can be super stressful. Also, there's times I wonder, when is it okay to be fake? Like when you're trying to avoid hurting somebody's feelings. Like, are there any times where it is appropriate? And talking to a therapist really helps me figure those things out. I've used therapy throughout my adult life, and it helps me problem solve. It helps me be better. It helps me change my habits. It's been such a positive influence on my life. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, which is so important. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/nextlevel today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/nextlevel.
They show us riding single file, and I think that was my biggest bummer about the whole thing, is that I thought we'd be more grouped up and be able to talk to each other while we're riding and stuff, but you have to do it single file. And then the horses, and we talk about this a little bit on the show, but the horses walk right on the edge, so it's very scary because you're looking over the cliff and you feel like they're gonna trip and fall down the hill. But I guess the guy said that they do that because they're looking for any predators that might be coming.
Yeah, so and that's how they can see where they are and everything. But to us, it feels like we are on the edge and about ready to tip over.
I kept trying to pull them over, and they're like, nope, I'm going to be walking 1 foot off the edge.
Yeah, it's definitely unsettling.
But
at first,
I was thinking about this, and I watch my cats do this too and everything. If you have 4 legs on the ground, you feel much more steady walking on the edge like that than you do when you have just 2 legs.
Or when you're balancing on something with 4 legs.
Yes. Yeah. But I thought it was cool because he is pointing out different things in Griffith Park and like talking about the history and things like that. So that was really fun. And
I'm surprised they don't show like the horses peeing and stuff. Because I feel like that, like if you've never been on a horse before, that's kind of like jarring to witness because it's like so much pee and you have to like stand up on your horse when they do it to like take the pressure off.
Yeah.
And it was such a part of the experience, I feel.
yeah. Well, I feel like Kevin would have been grossed out by that and not wanting to see it. Like he wouldn't have been grossed out in a funny way. He'd be grossed out of like, I don't want to look at that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But that's where I think the term pee like a racehorse comes from.
100%.
Because they really pee a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone did really well horseback riding, though. Like, there was no issues.
I think so, too. Like, they do a really good job, even if you're a beginner, just telling you how to do it and how to shift your weight and how to do everything. So
I think the person that had the most trouble, and that was, it's not even that she had trouble, but was the most uncomfortable the whole time was Crystal. She was really freaking out about it.
Did she have trouble, like, steering her horse and stuff?
Yeah, and she just was so nervous. Every time the horse did something, even if it was normal, she'd be like, oh, why are you doing that? Don't do that. Like, don't no, come over here. Don't do this. I remember having trouble with my horse trying to eat all the time. Oh, they really did put us with our right personality.
What if the show did that on purpose? What if they're like, okay, Kendra needs like a wild horse, Holly needs a boring horse, and Bridget needs the horse that's going to eat.
That's going to stop and hold everybody up to eat all the time.
Right?
It's possible.
I didn't think my horse was boring, but I can see how other people would.
Oh, and then I tell in commentary about how Crystal's horse got a rock stuck in its hoof.
Ooh.
I don't know what we had to do about that, but it seems like you have to do something about that.
So we get to the Mexican restaurant, and I just remember the food being so good. We got off the horses. We were so sore because your first time on a horse, you're like shocked to realize how sore like the insides of your legs are.
Oh my
and all that
God.
stuff. So we're walking into the restaurant like weirdos, and
But can I just say how cool it is that they have a horse, I don't know what you call it, but
like a hitching post.
Oh, hitching post,
Yeah.
yes, outside of the restaurant. Like it's made for this. Like we didn't just like, people were asking, is this a tour that they actually offered or did you guys just get to do this because of the show? It was a tour that they actually offered, a sunset dinner ride, and they had the hitching post outside the restaurant for those horses sitting there.
But also that area is horsey. Have
Yes.
you noticed that? Like, I don't know where the other stables are or whatever,
Yes.
but people are riding horses around
Well,
that
they have a
area.
whole equestrian center
Yeah.
right there. I don't know where it is exactly. I've passed it before, but I couldn't tell you where it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I see like people riding around or I see
Yeah.
like the evidence of it, but I don't know where the exact place is. But it's
Yes.
over in Burbank.
So I thought that was cool that they actually have it. And
Before we get into what we eat and stuff, I do have to say that in the commentary, we're talking about a weird Karen encounter we had when we were horseback riding.
Oh.
There was some lady speed walking and she started yelling at the guy who was leading our party and saying, get the fuck off the road,
Yes.
get the fuck out of the way.
yes.
And then somebody said something to her and she started yelling back again.
Yes.
And Kendra was pissed and it was a
Yes.
whole like freaky encounter.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard people say that they think boomers are Karens because of lead poisoning?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's something about like, not everybody, obviously, but it's like women of like a certain age like get really mean all of a sudden. I've seen so many theories about it, or people saying it's because, yeah, when women are young and beautiful, they get all this attention. And when they get older and don't get it anymore, they don't know how to react. Or maybe it's hormones, or maybe it's lead poisoning from that generation.
Interesting.
I don't know what's behind it, but
Yeah, I don't either.
it's a conversation.
But I remember her being really rude, and she was screaming at him that they need. And he was just telling us how it's really important that we, they have to share the trail. And I think it's funny because he said with hikers, joggers, and actors. But she's screaming at us. But the thing is, she's acting like we're taking up the whole trail or something. But we physically cannot because the horses won't. They're absolutely do single file and
Yeah.
they walk on the edge. So you have the whole rest of the trail.
it was bizarre.
Yeah, so we go inside and it's finally warm. Like I was dying. I was so cold.
We were so cold that I'm trying to slam as much alcohol as possible to like warm myself up.
Well, I go in and order a strawberry margarita but that's only because I'm thinking it's a Mexican restaurant and I just want alcohol to warm up. But then somebody, and I forget who it was, maybe it was you, said, "Can I get a hot chocolate with Baileys?" And then so we all switched to that. And it makes it look like we're drinking so much hot chocolate with Baileys, these strawberry margaritas, and then somebody brings out shots and everything. But we didn't order the shots, and I remember telling everybody, just dump it in your margarita so it looks like we did it.
Yeah.
And so we throw it in the margarita, and I don't even think we drank the margaritas because we were so cold. So all we really had was the Baileys in the hot chocolate. So people were like, you guys had to been wasted leaving there, but I don't think we were. I mean, we might have had a little buzz, but I don't think we were like wasted or anything.
I don't think so either. And we were so cold that we even considered like getting driven back to the mansion. Of course, we couldn't do that because who would take the horses back? But that's how cold we were. We were like, I don't know if I can go do that hour back.
No, you know what's crazy about this? I had I don't even know how to describe this to you guys. I had two totally different realities about what happened. I know, this is weird. I full on remember, this is impossible, but I full on remember riding in a van on the way back. And the horse guy said...
Did just you go back?
I don't think so, because I think I'm in the footage coming back.
Is this an alternate timeline?
Right? That's why I'm like, what am I... Like, maybe I just had dreamt it in my head how good it would feel to be in the van on the way back. But I remember even the horse tour guide telling me, I don't need any of you guys to come back with me. They all follow each other. And so I had an alternate memory that he took the horses back...
And we all
went in a van back.
Which we totally didn't. Like, I remember going back.
But then I remember going back, too. So I'm like...
That's bizarre.
Maybe I just, was, dreaming it in my head. And that was my plan. And so that I can still see what my plan was. But it's weird. I don't know how to describe that other than I think it happened both ways. And we just only remember one way.
You guys, one of my favorite things to do when I have a little bit of downtime is play June's Journey. June's Journey is a hidden object mystery game with a captivating detective story taking you back to the glamour of the 1920s. It has a diverse cast of characters, and each new scene takes you further through a thrilling murder mystery story that sets the main protagonist, June Parker, on a quest to solve the murder of her sister and uncover her family's many secrets. There's so many things I love about this game. First of all, you know I love a mystery. You know I love the 1920s. You know I love things that are beautiful and aesthetic and things I love to look at, and this game is no exception. You know I love a brain teaser, and you get that with the hidden object games and with the mystery. You know I love decorating. You can even customize your own luxurious estate island. You know I love scrapbooking, and in this game you collect scraps of information to fill your photo album and learn more about each character. It's almost like this game was made for me. It's crazy. Solve mind-teasing mysteries of the roaring 1920s, engage your sense of observation to find hidden clues, search for hidden objects from the parlors of New York to the sidewalks of Paris. Each chapter uncovers a collection of dazzling hidden object spectacles for you to solve. Mystery, danger, and romance. Where will each new chapter take you? Can you crack the case? Download June's Journey for free today on iOS and Android. It's weird that you say that because I have this weird phantom memory, and something came up on my TikTok page that kind of resembled the place in my phantom memory last night, and I was going to send it to you, but then I was like, no, I can't even explain this, but I'm going to explain it now. I have this weird phantom memory of us for the show going someplace in like Northern California that had all these hot springs. It was like a hot spring resort with like different levels of hot springs.
Yeah, we did.
Wait, we did?
Yes. We did it for Anastasia's 21st birthday.
Like a phantom memory?
We went to Calistoga.
Oh, thank God. Because I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is just a dream I had that was really vivid.
No, we did it.
But we kind of went there and didn't spend as much time as we should have there. It kind of felt like in and out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably
why. And they didn't use it in the show.
Okay, that's probably why it feels phantom to me.
Yeah, but we definitely did it. Yeah, we did that.
Okay, good to know. Because I was like... Yeah, because I saw something on my TikTok that reminded me of that, and I'm like, why do I have this weird phantom memory?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. My sanity is intact.
But it was quick, and it was like a whirlwind weekend that we were doing a million other things too. So
Totally.
that's part of the reason why you don't remember it.
And plus, it was toward the end of season 5, and I was just in such like emotional turmoil that a lot of stuff I was doing was kind of autopilot, even though that was really a fun trip.
Yeah.
And I remember most of the trip, just for some reason, that's like a weird part of it.
Yeah. Oh, did you notice all the slurping noises in this episode?
I can't
or the scene?
stand it. I would rather see footage of a horse peeing. Like, I could laugh at that and think it's funny. But for some reason, the slurping and burping drives me up a fucking wall.
Molly, we're blaming you. Just kidding.
And then they have Kendra tell a joke, and they cut to me doing the most patronizing laugh.
Really?
I'm like, so bad. But obviously it's not real time. It's not like I was laughing at something on the fringes, but. And before we leave, the girls go back to the kitchen to ask, do you have extra like pot holder mitts? Do you have blankets? Do you have tablecloths? Do you have anything? Because we were so cold and they were just looking for anything. And I know some of you guys on the Patreon were asking, like, did you guys pay for those? Did those get returned? What happened? I have no clue.
I wasn't involved with that at all.
I wasn't involved with it. And I also just have no clue. Like, I don't know if that's something where the crew would go in and be like, oh, can we reimburse you? Or, oh, we'll bring these right back. Or I really don't know how that works.
I don't either. But I feel like what a inconvenience for the restaurant to have to like be out 3 pot. Like they need those.
Totally.
And I think they also grabbed a tablecloth as a blanket.
Yeah, I would think the show would have to reimburse that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that we kept asking them if they had like sweatshirts or any like merch.
Yeah, we wanted
that
to buy
could
merch. We wanted to layer up.
And they were like, no, we don't have anything like that. But whether those got returned or whether they got paid for, I have no idea.
Yeah. So then we go back and we get back to the buffet. What day of the week did we do this?
I want to say it was a Friday.
Okay, that makes sense.
People were asking why there were so many people at the mansion when we got back, and it's because it was a normal buffet dinner night, and we got back just in time for it.
Do you have any pictures from that day?
No.
I have 2 pictures, but it's only from the buffet.
Oh, I have a picture from the buffet, but like I don't have any pictures
From
horseback riding.
Yeah.
Sad.
It is sad, and I feel like when we were being filmed, we just thought, okay, that's being documented. Nobody needs to take pictures, but I'm bummed. That's always what I say my big regret is, take more pictures.
Maybe if I go back to Prometheus, they said they have a pile of things from Girls Next Door that I could have. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Maybe
said
they have like some production stills or
yeah,
something.
they said they have a lot of stills is what they mostly have. So maybe there's stuff in there.
Totally. And then you're saying something at buffet about being really sore in the legs. I forget exactly what you say, but they cut to Keith going, like making a pervy face, which of course is not real time and not what he was responding to, but it's funny.
Well, and then Kendra's talking about how much she bonded, and I feel like they sort of made it look like she was talking about with all the girls, but I know she's talking about her horse.
Yeah. That's funny.
And then she's really interested, of course, in getting a horse after this, and she was asking like how much it is, and she wants to buy her horse that she rode and change its name to Charger, and they told her it was $5,000 for that horse.
That doesn't seem like a lot. Is it just that horses are a lot to take care of, like super expensive to take care of?
Oh, definitely. But I don't know how much. I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of horse and everything, but I don't know how much a horse would be.
Yeah. I mean, I think it varies depending on like the breeding and
Oh,
stuff
because
like
you
that.
can buy super expensive like race horses that have like those are like millions of dollars, I think. But like,
crazy.
Yeah. So then it just sort of ends there. We're back home. It's buffet dinner, and they kind of pan out of the mansion, and there's just like laughter, and everybody's happy and home, and and the scene is done.
So that was our New Year's resolution episode. Did you feel like that year you accomplished your resolutions? Were you more positive that year?
I think I definitely was more positive that year. But like I said, that's something I always have on my list. So I think just because I accomplished it doesn't mean it wasn't on it for the next one around. And then I think, we did a lot of stuff that year. And so I think that career-wise, we were moving forward, and that was my big one. So I don't know how much I moved forward as far as voiceover.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, really I still really want to do that. I still really want to be in a cartoon or something. But speaking of things, and I know this isn't relevant to this episode, but speaking of things that I haven't done in a while, is trapeze. And I was just talking to one of my instructors from way back this morning, and because she posted, she has this new heart lyra, like a heart hoop, but it's, she has heart, and she was doing this whole like thing on it, and I was like, I want to learn the heart. And she's like, let's start doing it again. So we're trying to like find a day where I can go and like practice on the heart, and I'm excited about that.
Such a good workout. So what's your best and worst for this episode?
Honestly, I really liked this episode. I don't have a lot of worst. I guess it would go back to the top of it and Kendra not participating in the float stuff. Although I remember her having such a bad attitude at this point in time that we were actually relieved that she didn't want to come and do stuff. So I think at that time I probably didn't mind at all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good. She doesn't want to come. That's just fine. But looking back on things, it's just, this was easy and fun stuff, and we're getting paid for it. So to have attitude and not participate is probably my worst. And the fact that they're focusing on cleaning her room again.
Yeah, that's my worst too. I really like this episode. Like, I can't even narrow down what my favorite thing is. I'm going to have like 3. But if I had to pick a worst, it would probably be the room cleaning thing, because I think it's kind of a snore. But I also wonder, do I think it's a snore because I know what's coming and I think they kind of do this again? And plus we saw that deleted scene where like Kendra's mom and grandma come to clean. So I wonder if I feel like that scene is more overdone than it was at this point.
Yeah, maybe. And we also know that her grandma would come and her mom and grandma would come and clean other times that aren't on camera.
Yeah.
And we also know that there's daily housekeeping going in and out of there. So maybe it's just redundant for us, but not the viewer.
Like maybe for the viewer, it's a more entertaining scene and we're just seeing it in a totally different light. I do think the underwear part is funny.
Yeah, I do too.
But that gives me deja vu too, because I know in a calendar episode, there's going to be finding the underwear again and putting it on William's head. So it's weird. But if I had, but again, like you said, I really like this episode too, and I'm just picking a worst because I have to, and that would be my least favorite thing.
Speaking of those underwear, though, is this weird? I was thinking about it after we recorded about that, and I was like, wait, people were like, was Bridget mad because those were probably the underwear that she wore in the thing? And I'm thinking, wait, people think that those big underwear fit me. So I'm like, wait, everybody knows they're way too big for Kendra. It's obvious, but they would fit me.
Yeah.
So it just goes back to that original thing that people think I'm heavy because some person in production thought that was a funny trope to have me have. Like, those underwear would never have fit me either.
Yeah.
If they were going to be too big on Kendra, they're going to be too big on me.
Yeah. It's too much.
But I was thinking about that after the fact. I was like, wait a minute. Annoying. And then, I have to say the slurping.
Oh, yeah. The slurping is a least favorite, too. Picking a favorite is hard for me because there's so many things I like. I love the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I love the Beechwood Canyon of it all, even though you don't see that. Like, that was a big deal for me. And I love the horses.
Yeah. I have a bunch of loves, too. My first words are so much.
Yeah.
I think it was a very fun episode. I loved dressing up and decorating for the float. I loved working on my demo, voiceover reel. I loved horseback riding. I liked the Sally Rand connection. I just loved so much about it.
Yeah, and overall, I think it's a positive evolution for the show. Because when I think back to like the Career Dazed episode, which is kind of the precursor to this episode in season 2, I like this one so much better than Career Dazed. Like, it shows you actually doing a career thing.
Yeah.
I love what we're doing with the horses. I just think it's better.
And I'm still tripping on my alternative reality. Like, I wrote it in my notes on here, tripping on this alternative reality at the Mexican restaurant. Like, whether we...
Yeah, that's almost creepy.
Like, I full on can see us in the van.
Like, I kind of believe in alternate timelines and stuff.
It's so weird. It's really weird.
Was there something else you ditched out on early that you were in the van and
I don't
maybe
think
you were
so.
thinking, oh, I should have done this on the horse or something like that?
I don't think so, because they wouldn't let us do stuff like that. The one time I really, really, really tried to ditch out on something was in
Barbie's house.
Yeah, the Copper Palace, and they just would not let me do it.
Oh my gosh.
So I doubt that they're going to let me do it, even if I wanted to.
Yeah, totally.
But I remember it was so cold, you guys. It was so cold.
Yeah, we can't explain it. Like, I know there's people out there who like live in Minnesota or whatever, and they're going to be like, 55. but I swear for us, it felt really cold. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it was
felt really
freezing.
cold. So thank you for joining us, guys. If you'd like more content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/girlsnextlevel. Check out our merch at girlsnextlevel.shop, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.